Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel, and so today I've got an interesting conversation to have, I think, and that's how I would get into a game personally, how I would, actually find the game enjoyable, or how I start my first steps into a brand new game, and what sort of process I go through to do this. Now, I've obviously chosen Wild West Exodus because it is my favourite game. I think it's absolutely fantastic. The rules are great. The models look fantastic. And it's just a really good game. You can go from you don't need a whole lot to play the game. You just basically need a posse box on the rules, and seeing as the rules are free, it's not really much of an issue after that. So, and basically this is what it is. This is Wild West Exodus. Now, when I sort of start looking at a game, and I'll tell you why I started looking at Wild West Exodus in general, because when I was in a bit of a flunk when it came to Games Workshop. There wasn't anything really sticking out for me that I wanted to build, let alone use, or paint. It just kind of got kind of boring to me, and sort of everything was the same. And I'm seeing that a lot more now as well. I'm not ragging on Games Workshop. I'm just telling you what sort of how I got into this years ago. And so I got into this flunk, and so I was looking for new games to play, something more enjoyable to play. And so I was just looking around, and I found Wild West Exodus. And this, to me, is exactly how a game should be, a game company and a game should be. Because you do not need a whole lot to start playing the game, which is always a great thing. Just having like the Viridian Clade posse here is all you need to play the game. That's an army in a box. And you don't need to get any of these other big characters, like legendary characters. You can, and they're usually worth getting, but, there's not a necessity to play the game. The same with these extras troop boxes, like with Cerulean Infiltrators here. You don't really need this to play the game. You can use it to boost your army, but you don't really need it. All you need is one of these posse boxes, like the Confederate Rebellion here. That's all you need. And to me, that's, like I said, makes this game absolutely fantastic. It's got a low price, the starting price point, and it's a fun and interesting game as well. The setting also interests me. Alternative timeline, aliens versus cowboys. All of that stuff's really cool. And, it's something I really enjoy. You've got mad scientists and samurai. I'm not even joking, you've got samurai. Motorbikes, jet bikes, massive birds and stuff like that. And these monstrosities here. Things that make the servitors from 40k look kind of weak in comparison. So yeah, this is just absolutely fantastic and fun game to get into, and I really do enjoy it. So what I usually do first is I look through it and I'm going, okay, what sort of army do I fancy? I like UFOs and aliens. Let's look at the aliens here. Start with a named character. I always start with a named character, by the way, because that's the peak model. That's like what they would have best as. And is that picture not coming up? Damn you, picture not coming up. So we have the Magenta Alpha here. This we can bring up this way. There she is. And as you can see, it's a nice looking model. It's a fantastic looking base. She looks great. She looks badass. And she's like, okay, this is a great looking model, and this is for the Watchers. And that's your main named character, should you choose to pick it. There is another one, is the Viridian Alpha as well, Legendary Viridian Alpha. So then I would go and look at, one of their posse sets, the Viridian Clade here. And I take a look and see what it's like. I love this artwork, by the way. This is absolutely nasty and devastating. I think it looks cool. And then you're like, wow, that looks really cool. You've got these jetpacks or missile launchers here. Here's your Viridian Alpha, not the legendary one. And he looks absolutely badass. And as you can see, all the models look different as well. There's no real two models that look the same or have the same poses. They're all very, very different, and different war gear as well. So you have so much choice here on how you can build and play this faction itself already. And that's just 2 boxes. That's all you need as well, once again. So I go, okay, Watchers are pretty cool, but don't limit your scope. Try something else. Choose a different army. So I would go, let's say, to my favourite faction, which is, of course, Warrior Nations. Watchers are my second favourite. And so I'd go to Warrior Nations, And I would look at, first a legendary character, legendary Ravensmith. This is one of our more expensive at £31, but this is a huge model and it is heavy. This is basically a huge lump of resin. And you see this fantastic looking model. Pity it's not painted. And it was fun to build, it was fun to paint. And one of the best bits is, this guy here is actually part of this. This is one single moulding here. And it doesn't even feel like it. When you look at the model, it does look like he's separating from it. But this is a single moulding, and it's great. And you have this fantastic, huge centerpiece straight away for your army. And he looks amazing. So you go, okay, he looks cool. Let's choose a posse for the Warrior Nations. And there are a couple. And I think it's on page 2. No, it's on page 4. And you go, no, he's not on page 4. Sorry, he's on page 2. It's the Hour of a Wolf posse. But this one also, by the way, can be used as a warrior nation. So we'll pick this one instead. It says Empire on there, but they are Empire/warrior nations. And you go, wow, this is some more warrior nations. See, I wasn't joking when I said samurai. So you get samurai with your Indians, basically. And it just shows you the variety and range of the models that are coming, which you can get for this. Here's another warrior, posse box for Warrior Nations. So Warrior Nations has 3 posse boxes. And this is Death from Above. And you got these guys, and they were fun to build, they were fantastic, they were just great fun to build, they really were. And painting them was absolutely something else. I went for the more standard browns, rather than lots of bright colours. And yeah, and this is the sort of thing that really drives me into a game and really gets me interested, is when there is plenty of variety in the models, especially if they're all for the same faction. And this just makes me want to play them even more and, really want to show it off. This is a Crown one, also Outlaws. This is the Drum of the Nautilus. This is actually quite a sizable model. My only real issue with this model is, though he is pretty big, and he is pretty big, the base is far too big for him. It's a very large base, and if you see him on his base, he looks diddy in comparison. I think that's why they put him on rocks. But it's a lovely model. It was, again, another great fun model to paint. And you just see this all the time. Doesn't matter which faction you choose, you're always going to find a different lot of models for it to build and paint for your faction. If we go at the Hour of a Wolf posse here, come on. It's not going to do it. Internet's playing up today. The Hour of a Wolf posse, again, is another really cool box. And he's not going to let me do it. And so, you got this fantastic fun game, lots of fun miniatures. All the armies are completely diverse and varied. You're rarely going to paint the same model twice, and this is a basic troop choice like Cerulean Infiltrators, Youngbloods, Tesla Bots, Gunslingers. The basic troop choices, which has no name characters, and it just adds so much more to it. And then the rules are free, and then you've got this as well. This is all the cards you need to play the game. These are all your data sheets. Every single person is on here, every single model, and they're all nicely laid out. So you really won't find it hard to find a model that you need. So here's Ghost Wolf and Legendary Ghost Wolf. I got both. And you just look at this. He's 22 points. He is a large model. He's very tall. As you can see, 3 hits on 3s for melee. Really doesn't have any real range stuff, because if he's at 1 inch at that point, you just as well get into close combat. All have a piercing of -1, and up to 6 hits in a turn. Actually, I think you've got to choose one or the other, because I chose Spirit Blades rather than Razor Claws. Well, Razor Claws are pretty much better. And you've got all the rules, you've got everything you need to play the game. And this, to me, is what really made me fall in love with the game with Wild West Exodus. So I didn't have to struggle finding what I need to do. And the rules are so simple and easy to do, and easy to build. Like the Ichigo Kuga. This is a fantastic model as well, just so you know. As you can see, Empire and Warrior Nations. Fight of 7. Aim of 6. So she's hit on 4s with her range combat, which is Naginta. as 2, -1 piercing and 1 rate of attack. Frenzied Attack, this is basically the big cat itself, as a -3 piercing. In close combat, that's going to be absolutely devastating. She's quick, and everything about this just shows you how a game should be made and how a game should be sold and stuff like that. And it just makes me happy seeing this in a game that's supporting the game in a way that it's about the community. It's about, doing a fun game first and foremost. Whereas, you're just not getting stuck on things like lore or anything else. So this is all about the game. And now we can bring up the Elven Wolf Posse. This is the other one. Now it's doing what it's meant to do. And you see, you have the Elven Wolf Posse. This is one of the most varied boxes you're going to buy. You have 2 big werewolves. I've literally just got to finish this model here. And this is this one done. It really is. I've done this one, this one, this one, this one. And as you can see, it's so different. Every model is different. Let's look at the stance of this one here. And this is what's important. It's allowing you to be really creative. Have lots of different types of models in your armies. Having lots of different characters. And having some real fun. So, anyway. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to, actually look at Wayland Games, the link's down below, as always. Free delivery after £20. I've not hit any prices here because I chose Wayland Games. This is the best place to get in, and I do support them as a company. They're one of the best shops to go to. Every month I will spend around about £300 in this store alone, and I'm not exaggerating. So yeah, go there. They're a good delivery as well. They're really quick. It's like standards 48-hour delivery. Signed 48-hour delivery. And next, of course, is Forbidden Planet for comics, merchandise, all that really cool geeky stuff. There is my merchandise, cups, travel mugs, t-shirts, stickers. There's my comics. One's an anthology, which is full of horror. It has one of my darkest stories in it. And the other one is my Raziel and Little Red, Wolfsbane, which is about basically them going up against cyborg werewolves and Cthulhu monsters. I love crafting monsters. That sounds cool. Skyforge, always give that guy a click. He's a good friend of mine who needs the support, and it really does deserve it, especially like Pokemon cards. And finally, Patreon.